In this video, I will cover my top 7 things to secure strong financial position in life. Here they are. First is debt. Debt can be a real drag for your future. If you have any form of debt other than the productive one, you must get rid of it first. I'm not talking about productive debt, which is borrowings for the business. For instance, you borrowed money to acquire business equipment or rental properties. These rental properties and business equipment allow you to earn income. So in essence, productive debt allows you to use leverage to acquire assets that will earn you income. The unproductive debt that I'm talking about here is the credit card debt or personal loans that you use to buy consumer goods. There could be different reasons why you got into it, but almost always it's a bad idea. These debts, they almost always charge very high interest rates and will get you into a debt spiral. So consolidate all these debts at a lower rate and make a plan to pay them off. In certain instances, paying off your mortgage may make financial sense. It all depends on the interest rate as well as your financial situation. For instance, if your mortgage has 4 to 5% rate or lower, maybe it doesn't make sense. But if you have a mortgage rate of 8% or even higher, well, in that case, maybe it makes sense to pay it off earlier. Or alternatively, you can refinance your mortgage at a lower rate when the interest rates come down. Second, frugality is something that we have full control over, unlike other things. I hope you already made the right choices. But in case you're still wondering, think about the things that are most important to you. For some it could be travel, for others it could be cars or maybe organic food. As for everything else that's not important, make a plan to cut expenses on those categories. While there are different actions and things that you can do to cut your spending, it's very difficult to apply it broadly because each of us have their own preferences, as I just mentioned. But if you insist, here are the top 5 of mine. Buy used whenever possible. For instance, buy used cars or used smartphones, used electronics or used clothing. These items can cost a whole lot less. Second, if you have a habit of eating out, can you eliminate or cut eating out at restaurants? With the labor shortages and just overall inflation in the economy, the prices at restaurants are skyrocketing. And if you can cut down on eating out and cook more and eat at home, that can decrease your overall living expenses by a whole lot, by a wide margin. Moreover, if you buy bulk at Costco or BJ's, that will allow you to cut down on food expenses even more. Third, choose your home size and location well. Depending on where you are and the size of your home, your mortgage or rent can be very reasonable or too excessive. The fourth item that you can think about cutting is the subscriptions. It's very easy to lose track of them because you subscribe to this one thing, then another thing, and then they start to add up, these $5, $10, or $15 or $30. And at the end of the day, they can eat up a large chunk of your budget and constitute a large proportion of your living expenses. If you can go through your credit cards or whatever you use to pay for those subscriptions and analyze and highlight those things that stand out that you don't need and can eliminate, that will help a lot. And the fifth thing is, choose your life partner wisely. Even if you are the world's most frugal person on earth, if your partner is a person who likes to waste money, you'll be in a perpetual state of financial struggle. The third advice is to earn more. And this is easier said than done, because most people are on salaries and their income is quite fixed. But still, there are a few things that you can think about at least today. For instance, first, are there any interests or hobbies that you can turn into a business that will generate you income? Or alternatively, if you don't have any, can you build a skill that can generate you profits in the future? This is not easy, and I know this from my personal experience. Let me give you an example. After my wife and I graduated from the university, we decided that we want to travel full-time and see the world. And It's a tough choice because you either have to have a lot of savings or you have to work on the wheels. We decided that we're gonna work on the wheels, and we will be doing freelance work for different blogs. I wrote about investing while my wife focused on lifestyle topics. Later, we picked one more thing that we still do to this day, and that is photography. Photography always fascinated me and I wanted to get good at it. We started in 2015 from nothing and bought our first cameras and lenses. For that, we used our credit card to get 1-year installment loan. But camera gear was our depreciation expense that lowered our business income later. First, we started selling photos on various stock photography websites. Later, we got into time lapses and stock video. At the end, we have built a decent passive income stream since then. You can check out our other channel called Blachin Films to see our travel videos and more if you'd like. I linked it here. These days, we put our effort into other things such as YouTube channels, blogs, and more. But the moral of the story is this: you could have a hobby or hobbies that, if taken seriously, can turn into income-generating endeavors too. All it takes is some time, thought, and organization. The fourth thing to do is to max out your tax-deferred accounts. Those include 401ks, IRAs, or anything else that you may have. And be sure to max out your contributions in a 401ks that your employer matches. This is essentially free money, so do not leave it on the table. The fifth thing to do is to have an emergency fund. The emergency fund should cover your living expenses up to 6 months. Maybe a year would be even better. And to do that, you will have to know your living expenses. And you can determine them by summing up your credit card statements, or alternatively, you can keep track of your living expenses. I made a video of how we do that actually. We use a free Google Sheets as our free budget app to track all our expenses. So once you know your living expenses, you can get that cash and put it in a high-yield savings account, and that's preferable. And because savings accounts are FDIC insured up to $250,000 per person. So that money is set aside and untouchable. Just in case if something happens, you have that cash for you available in case of emergency. The sixth thing that you can do is to have a taxable account. And that's only true after you maxed out your tax-deferred accounts. But the question that you should ask yourself: are you good at stock picking? Do you have time to do stock research? If not, do not do it. This is because even professionals fail to beat the market. Do you think it's any different for any of us? Likely not. So instead, you can just pick one passive ETF and invest most of your money in it. It could be S&P 500, or if you're young or you have at least 20 years or more to wait, it could be NASDAQ 100 ETF. I made a video why NASDAQ 100 ETF is the best option for young investors. In case you still want to play around with stock picking, here's what to keep in mind. First, find and allocate only money that you can afford to lose. The next thing is to play around with it for 4 or 5 years and build a track record. By doing so, you will learn what works and what doesn't, and maybe you will find your secret formula or your strategy, and that's great. And if not, if you lose money, view it as just a learning lesson, nothing more or nothing less. And the final, seventh thing that maybe all of us should prioritize, it's health. And building healthy habits takes a lifetime. Moreover, health is a very controversial topic. There's so many camps out there that will pull you to their side. Paleo, vegans, carnivore or fruitarian, just to name a few. But let me give you an example from our recent personal experience. In 2023, we visited the island of Ikaria in Greece. Ikaria is known as the longevity blue zone, and where people live to 100 years of age or even more. But what's important is that not only they live to 100 years and more, they also are quite active and up to that time, and they're relatively healthy. And that's what really matters. You don't want to get old and be sick all the time. And if there's any other habits that I want to emulate or build that will improve my health, is based on something that actually worked for people for a long time and for large numbers. And I think IKKR is a prime example for that. You can go to our other channel called Blokhin Films and watch videos about IKKR. But here's the summary for you. The IKKRians' diet is very seasonal and varied. When we were there in early summer at the family dinner, the IKKRians served us salad, dairy and meat. Almost all IKKRians have their own gardens where they grow vegetables. They also raise goats and sheep, but not cows because of the landscape. Also, the IKKRians, they drink their own homemade wine. And the pristine nature conditions on the island allow IKKRians to raise a very high quality food, which is not even nearly comparable to your supermarket foods. So, as we see, IKKRians' diet is not really specific, and they do not follow carnivore or vegan or anything else you can name. They are very opportunistic about their food. People of IKKR are very active too, and they are always moving around. They do not run marathons though, and they do not pump the man-made iron like we do in gyms. Actually, the modern culture of over-exercising would repel them. On top of that, they try to live a stress-free life. But even if stress happens, they try to maintain a chill attitude about it. Finally, they are very friendly people. They value their family, friendships, and even strangers. They were some of the kindest people that we met during our travels, and we mean it. There are a few other things that we noticed, but this video is getting way too long. If there's anything that you can remember from this video, it's this: stress, bad eating habits, sedentary lifestyle, and loneliness can greatly reduce your health and your lifespan. Of course, to live long like IKKRians, we have to live like IKKRians, but it's impossible. Like, nobody can go to that island and live there. But there are many lessons that we can learn from IKKRians and apply to our situations as best as we can. In conclusion, Einstein once said that there are 5 levels of intelligence. Those are smart, intelligent, brilliant, genius, and simple. We can all benefit from keeping things simple, and this concerns many things, including investing, health, and relationship. That is it for this video. I hope you learned something new today and you got out of it something. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel for more videos about investing and personal finance. Thank you for watching.